Hey guys, what's going on? It's Friday here, and today I'm gonna bring you my week 7 risky lineup as always. I'm gonna bring you a risky lineup, and later on, I hope later today, maybe tomorrow, I'll bring you some picks you can put into your lineup if you already have a core you really like this week and just need some great picks to finish it off. Okay, so it's the Sunday only without the London game, 12 games, Millie Maker standard. And we're gonna start off with Matt Ryan at quarterback. Great matchup, I think. Everybody knows his great stats. He posted so far 7,200. It's expensive, but it's a good price for a matchup and a guy like Matt Ryan. I don't think I have to explain that pick. Um, he will be highly owned, that's for sure. You could go Tom Brady. He will still, even at 7,900, be a great value pick, but also highly owned. And I like Matt Ryan a little bit better this week, playing at home. At Pittsburgh, it's always a thing because the huge home advantage Pittsburgh has at home. Okay, so Matt Ryan is one of the only quarterbacks besides maybe Tom Brady and James White you can stack with a running back because they pass a lot and a lot of the touchdowns are passing touchdowns to the running backs. You could go with Tevin Coleman because he's supposed to be the more pass catching running back of those two. But I like Devontae Freeman a lot better this week. If you look at the stats, they had an equal amount of targets. I think there's a difference of 1 or 2 targets. And same at receptions. The only thing is that Tevin Coleman had this one game where he had 3 rushing touchdowns because he took over 3 red zone looks. I don't know why that was because usually Devontae Freeman is the more running back. But this week, Devontae Freeman, 5,900. He's getting, yeah, his salary's getting up every week now, so he will be back at the 6,500, 6,800. Not too, yeah, I mean, in 2 weeks or something. And I think at 5,900, you have to pick him. And with Matt Ryan as a quarterback, that's a great stack. I mean, Freeman will catch a lot of passes. I think at least 6 or 7 this week. Um, but he will also rush a lot. And I mean, Atlanta's supposed to really kill San Diego by a lot of points, scoring a lot of points, and to just take some time off the clock, they will rush a lot. And Devontae Freeman is a clear rushing running back between him and Tevin Coleman. Okay, the other running back is I think the chalkiest play this week, DeMarco Murray. I mean, the matchup is just too great. Really, like, I think that's the best matchup you can really get as a running back. If we look at the past matchups they played Houston and Chicago, and both Lamar Miller and Jordan Howard went off against them. Okay, Miller's not playing this slate, okay, and either is Howard. But they had great games, just like rushing and even catching balls all over them and scoring 2 touchdowns both, I think, or Howard only scored one. I think Howard only scored one, but both had more than 20 fantasy points. And I mean, DeMarco Murray is the clear running back in Tennessee, also catching a lot of balls. He didn't go off last week as a lot of people expected. He will this week, and hopefully some guys will be off him because he was kind of, yeah, destroying lineups last week, and they were mad they didn't have LaShawn McCoy or someone, and maybe this time they will go to McCoy and Murray will definitely go off, and we have an advantage. Okay, for the wide receiver, first one, of course, Julio Jones. You could argue that Mohamed Sanu has a better matchup, but since San Diego um, doesn't really have any good corners that are healthy, I mean, Julio Jones is just destroying. Even against Seattle, he posted huge numbers. Let me show you the numbers. That's 140 yards against Seattle and a touchdown against one of the best pass defense in the game. I mean, he burned Sherman twice in huge plays. Like Sherman got super mad and like really and missed another touchdown. Uh, just the tight end just ran past Sherman, and that was just because Julio Jones really upset Sherman. And I think if you play Matt Ryan, you can stack him with both a running back and a wide receiver in a game like that where it's just both huge, like really great matchups, and they'll go off. And I mean, it's like last week when I stacked Big Ben with Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. That was a huge mistake. It was Big Ben on the road. I didn't listen to all the Big Ben on the road after posting two great games is always a bad idea, and it was a bad idea. So this week though, it's way less expensive. It's at home in Atlanta, and they will go off. I guarantee you that. That's a great stack, those three guys. Okay, to get our salary back, we spent on all the guys up till now. We have to look something cheap, and I found the perfect cheap guy, and that's Cordarrelle Patterson. Okay, so in week 5 he saw 6 targets, only caught 4 of them, and had a touchdown. That's no great numbers, of course. Still, Stephon Diggs is supposed to be out again. He didn't practice this week yet. So if Stephon Diggs is out, Cordarrelle Patterson is a safe play for me on 30% of the lineups. No one will own him. They all forgot about him during the bye week, and the Minnesota Vikings continued to give him receptions more and more because they realized what a great receiver he is. He has huge numbers after the reception. They put up plays just for him, screenplays, to give him the ball and get him on the open field where he could just make defenders miss. And I think this week, after a bye week, they had enough time to practice some more special plays for Cordarrelle Patterson. He's super fast. He just can't run all the routes. So he will have some special plays designed for him, and I think he will go off this week with no one being on him. He's kind of Brashad Perriman last week, who actually was, if you look at the Millie Maker lineup that won last week, he had Brashad Perriman on his lineup. He only scored like 7 points, but he saw 8 targets. He had a pass interference that would have ended in a touchdown, 30 yards. That's 10 points more, and that would have already been 17 points. Great value for $3,000. This week, Steve Smith is supposed to be back, so I won't play Brashad Perriman again, and he just didn't catch any passes at all. Like, his 3 out of 8. He had the opportunity, he just didn't take it. Okay. For the last wide receiver, we're going to pick someone no one will be on again. It's Michael Crabtree. Okay, so if you look, he posted this huge game against Baltimore, so when he played against San Diego, everybody stacked Carr with Michael Crabtree, but Cooper had a great game. Then Kansas City came up, and Cooper had a decent game again. It was super bad weather, so I mean the passing game was not too good this day, and you saw it when the Kansas City running backs just, I think they combined for 50 points or something. It's just huge numbers. And this week they're playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. The good thing about the Jacksonville Jaguars is they have a good or a decent passing defense. Everybody thinks it's super bad, but it's okay. And they have a great first cornerback, and that's Jalen Ramsey, and he shadows people. So he will be on Amari Cooper this week, and he already kind of shut down some people. Like they still posted decent numbers, but the number 2 wide receiver has always potential to go off against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So with all the targets Crabtree saw before the Kansas City game, I mean 7, 12, 11, that's some great numbers. He will see a lot of targets this week again. He won't post 3 touchdowns, okay, that's for sure. He will, though, see the end zone once, I think, and he will see a lot of targets and receptions. Hopefully people will be on Cooper again, and we will just get the better value, more points at the, yeah, I mean, I think he's $900 cheaper, and that's just great value. Okay, for tight end, we go with Hunter Henry. I mean, it makes sense. He plays against Atlanta. Awful against the tight end. If Atlanta goes up like we want to, because we have 3 Atlanta Falcons players in here, San Diego will have to throw a lot, and you could either take Tyrell Williams or Hunter Henry. I think Hunter Henry has the better value at this point at 3,600 at the tight end position. I hate the tight end position. I usually pay up just because I don't get the people, and I usually in my season-long fantasy leagues I pick guys like Gronkowski. Just because if you have a solid tight end who posts like 15 to 20 points each game, that's what wins you the league. I mean, you could go low on tight end and just take better running backs and receivers and everything, but I mean, there's so much value at receivers at the lower bottom too. People that could go off for one game, you could just pick up for one game. And at tight end, it's really hard to find tight ends who get a workload and continue to put up good numbers. And Hunter Henry is one of those, and he only costs 3,600, and he plays against our stack. So that's a perfect player for our lineup this week. I hope he will see the end zone one more time again, like he did the last 2 games, I think, or even 3. The last 3 games he saw the end zone. He got 8, 4, and 7 targets, and the last game was with Gates back. So I mean, they will throw the ball a lot against Atlanta. They have to, and Hunter Henry will be the receiving end of, I hope, most of the thrown passes. Okay, at flex, we will go to Duke the Nuke. Why the Nuke? Because he will go off this week. Pretty good one there, I know. It's Duke Johnson Jr. Okay, so they play against Cincinnati. You saw what James White did to Cincinnati last week. I had a lot of James White, actually. I had some lineups where I stacked James White with Brady and Gronk. So they won me my money back. I lost on the uh, Pittsburgh stacks. Um, he caught 6 passes, I think, for 2 touchdowns. So this time it's Duke's week. Cincinnati is supposed to win by a couple points. They will Cleveland will have to throw a lot again. I mean, he saw an increase in targets, 6 against New England. I don't know why he only saw 3 targets. It was kind of stupid. But other than that, he just posted double-digit target points in 3 of the last 4 games. Tennessee saw 6 targets, even rushed for 18 yards. I think Crowell does pretty good at the um, running game, but he drops so many passes and just is not a safe pass catching running back. And if they trail like they will against Cincinnati, who really played pretty good against New England the first half, they will have to throw a lot again, and Duke Johnson will be the guy to go to. Terrell Pryor is even unquestionable. He will probably play. I don't know if he's 100% healthy, so that could increase Duke Johnson's share a little bit. If you don't like Duke Johnson because he's too risky for you, or I mean, I love him. He is like theoretic to me and just cheaper, not as high of a ceiling, but still a great pick to me. You could go with another great value this week, and that's Torrey Smith. Main guy for Colin Kaepernick. He saw 7 targets, only caught 3 of them. I mean, not all of them were good passes. I mean, it's Colin Kaepernick, of course, but he posted 76 yards on those 3 receptions and a touchdown. And last year, him and Kaepernick had some great games together. So I think this week against Tampa Bay, who's really a bad defense, he could post some good numbers. He'll see an equal amount of targets if he just catches like 5 or 6 of them. An average, not 25, but 15 to 20. And a touchdown again, he will have more than 20 fantasy points, and that's great value. So I will stack some of the lineups with Torrey Smith, but most of them with Duke the Nuke, one of my favorite players. I don't know, I just like him. And he even saw some red zone targets or some red zone carries the last couple weeks. Okay, and for defense, we could look at Tampa Bay against San Francisco. As I said, I don't like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers too much though, and I think Colin Kaepernick is getting better and better each week now. So I prefer the Cardinals, even if that leaves a salary of 200 left on the board. I really like Arizona Cardinals defense. They have Mathieu back, who just, yeah, he's a great cornerback, and he even caught an interception the last couple minutes of the game this Monday, I think. Yeah, and I mean, I play Seattle, as you know. By now, if you watch my previous videos, I don't like Russell Wilson. I think he's a bad passing quarterback. He can run the ball, I give him that, but I don't think he can really pass that good. They're good against a tight end. If you look at Jimmy Graham's matchup, oops, the heck, oh yeah, here. If you look at Graham's matchup, they're second against the Titans in fantasy points, and Jimmy Graham is one of the only players they have right now who can really post up numbers. I mean, they have a good running back, but that's about it. I mean, Doug Baldwin could maybe have a good game against Arizona, but I don't think he can do it all on his own because, I mean, Jimmy Graham will be shut down, and Russell Wilson is not. I just think they will. It's a low-scoring game. They will maybe score a touchdown, they'll get 1 or 2 interceptions at least and force one more turnover, and I think that's enough for a $3,000 defense. They even have on Fantasy Labs, they have the second highest ceiling this week, only topped by the Bills against Miami. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a great week. Expect another video coming out later today or tomorrow for some value picks you could use in your lineups, and see you in the tournaments this